Didn't even get to cross.
I said I'm new.
10th is Titanfall.
Titanfall is a multiplayer first-person shooter video game developed by Respawn Entertainment and published by Electronic Arts. It was released for Microsoft Windows and Xbox One on March 11, 2014. An Xbox 360 version ported by Bluepoint Games was released April 8, 2014. The game was highly anticipated as the debut title from developers formerly behind the successful Call of Duty franchise. In Titanfall, players control pilots and their mech-style titans, and fight in 6-on-6 matches set in war-torn outer space colonies. The game is optimized for fast-paced, continual action, aided by wall-running abilities and populations of computer-controlled soldiers. Up to 50 characters can be active in a single game, and non-player activity is uploaded to Microsoft's cloud computing services to optimize local graphical performance. The game's development team began work on the title in 2011, and their Titan concept grew from a human-sized suit into a battle tank exoskeleton. The team sought to bring scale, verticality, and story to its multiplayer genre through elements traditionally reserved for single-player campaigns. The 65-person project took inspiration from Blade Runner, Star Wars, Abrams' Battle Tank, and Masamune of Ghost in the Shell. Titanfall won over 60 awards at its E3 2013 reveal, including a record-breaking 6 E3 Critics Awards and Best of Show from several media outlets. It also won official awards at Gamescom and the Tokyo Game Show. Titanfall received generally favorable reviews. Reviewers praised its balance, smart pistol weapon, player mobility, and overall accessibility for players of all skill sets, but criticized its thin campaign, disappointing artificial intelligence, and lack of community features and multiplayer modes. Critics considered the game a successful evolution for the first-person shooter genre, but did not agree as to whether the game delivered on its anticipation. On March 12, 2015, it was announced that a sequel is in production for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. It was released on October 28, 2016.
9th is Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 is an action-adventure video game developed by Rockstar North and published by Rockstar Games. It was released in September 2013 for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, in November 2014 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and in April 2015 for Microsoft Windows. It is the first main entry in the Grand Theft Auto series since 2008's Grand Theft Auto 4. Set within the fictional state of San Andreas, based on Southern California, the single-player story follows 3 criminals and their efforts to commit heists while under pressure from a government agency. The open-world design lets players freely roam San Andreas open countryside and the fictional city of Los Santos, based on Los Angeles. The game is played from either a third-person or first-person perspective angles. World is navigated on foot or by vehicle. Players control the 3 lead protagonists throughout single-player and switch between them both during and outside missions. The story is centered on the heist sequences, and many missions involve shooting and driving gameplay. A wanted system governs the aggression of law enforcement response to players who commit crimes. Grand Theft Auto Online, the online multiplayer mode, lets up to 30 players explore the open world and engage in cooperative or competitive game matches. Development began soon after Grand Theft Auto 4 release and was shared between many of Rockstar's studios worldwide. The development team drew influence from many of their previous projects such as Red Dead Redemption and Max Payne 3, and designed the game around 3 lead protagonists to innovate on the core structure of its predecessors. Much of the development work constituted the open world's creation, and several team members conducted field research around California to capture footage for the design team. The game's soundtrack features an original score composed by a team of producers who collaborated over several years. 8th is Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 is a first-person shooter video game developed by video game developer EA, DICE and published by Electronic Arts. It is a sequel to 2011's Battlefield 3 and was released on October 29, 2013 in North America, October 31, 2013, in Australia, November 1, 2013, in Europe and New Zealand and November 7, 2013, in Japan for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and Xbox 360. Battlefield 4 was also released worldwide as a launch title for the Xbox One on November 22, 2013, the same day the console was released. Battlefield 4 was met with positive reception. It was praised for its multiplayer mode, gameplay and graphics, but was also criticized for its short and shallow, single-player campaign mode, and for its numerous bugs and glitches. It was a commercial success, selling over 7 million copies. The game's heads-up display, HUD, is composed of 2 compact rectangles. The lower left-hand corner features a mini-map and compass for navigation, and a simplified objective notice above it. The lower right includes a compact ammo counter and health meter. The top right displays kill notifications of all players in-game. On the Windows version of the game, the top left features a chat window when in multiplayer. The mini-map, as well as the main game screen, shows symbols denoting 3 kinds of entities: blue for allies, green for squad mates, and orange for enemies. This applies to all interactivity on the battlefield. Battlefield 4 options also allow color-blind players to change the on-screen color indicators to tritanimal, deuteranimally and protanimally. Seventh is Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a 2015 action role-playing video game developed and published by CD Projekt. Based on the Witcher series of fantasy novels by Polish author Andrzej Sapkowski, it is the sequel to the 2011 video game The Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings and the third installment in the Witcher video game series. Played in an open world with a third-person perspective, players control protagonist Geralt of Rivia. Geralt, a monster hunter known as a Witcher, is looking for his missing adopted daughter, who is on the run from the Wild Hunt, an otherworldly force determined to capture and use her powers. Players battle the game's many dangers with weapons and magic, interact with non-player characters, and complete main story and side quests to acquire experience points and gold, which are used to increase Geralt's abilities and purchase equipment. Its central story has several endings, determined by the player's choices at certain points in the game. Development began in 2011 and lasted for 3.5 years, of which over 2.5 years were devoted to voice recording. The writing was infused with real-life aspects like moral ambiguity in a deliberate attempt to avoid simplification, impart authenticity, and reflect Sapkowski's novels. Europe was the basis of the game's open world, with Poland, Amsterdam, and Scandinavia as its primary inspirations. Red Engine 3 enabled the developer to create a complex story without compromising the game world, whose size was enlarged by PlayStation 4 and Xbox One technology. The music was primarily composed by Marcin Perzybilowicz and performed in Germany by the Brandenburg State Orchestra. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was released worldwide for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on May 19, 2015. The game received critical acclaim, with praise of its gameplay, narrative, world design, combat, and visuals, although it received some criticism due to technical issues, some of which were later patched. It was most awarded game that released in 2015, receiving Game of the Year awards from gaming publications, critics, and award events, and is considered one of the greatest games of all time. Sixth is Just Cause 3. Just Cause 3 is an action-adventure video game developed by Avalanche Studios and published by Square Enix. Announced on November 11, 2014, it is the third game in the Just Cause series and the sequel to 2010's Just Cause 2. It was released worldwide on December 1, 2015 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, set 6 years after its predecessor. Just Cause 3 follows series protagonist Rico Rodriguez as he returns to his homeland of Medici, a fictional Mediterranean republic under the control of dictator General Sebastiano di Ravello. The game is played from a third-person perspective and allows players to explore the island of Medici in an open-world environment. A variety of tools are provided to players for traversal in the game. Just Cause 2's signature features, the grappling hook and parachute, reappear with improved mechanics. A new wingsuit, which is permanently equipped by Rico, is featured in the game and allows the player to glide across the world in a much faster way. When the player almost reaches the ground while using the wingsuit, they can draw themselves back up in the air by using grapples. Players can switch between using the parachute and wingsuit freely. In addition to the equipment provided, a wide range of weapons, like missile launchers and shotgun, RPGs, and vehicles, such as fighter aircraft, planes, ships, and exotic cars, are included in the game. Fifth is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands is a tactical shooter video game developed by Ubisoft, Paris and published by Ubisoft. It was released worldwide on March 7, 2017, for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, as the 10th installment in the Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon franchise and is the first game in the Ghost Recon series to feature an open-world environment. The game moves away from the futuristic setting introduced in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter and instead feature a setting similar to the original Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. Ubisoft described it as one of the biggest open-world games that they have published, with the game world including a wide variety of environments such as mountains, forests, deserts, and salt flats. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands is a tactical shooter game set in an open-world environment and played from a third-person perspective with an optional first-person view for gun aiming. Players play as members of the Delta Company, 1st Battalion, 5th Special Forces Group, also known as Ghosts, a fictional elite special operations unit of the United States Army under the Joint Special Operations Command. 3. It does not feature the futuristic setting used in Advanced War Fighter and Future Soldier, but instead adopts a modern-day setting, similar to the original Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. As a result, the equipment featured in the game is based on weapons and gear commonly used by military forces around the world. However, it features some original equipment, such as drones that can be used to tag enemies and show objectives. These drones have limited abilities until upgraded. The game is the first entry to feature an open-world environment, which consists of 9 different types of terrain, such as mountains, forests, desert, salt flats, and also introduces a dynamic weather system as well as a day-night cycle. Completing missions during daytime allows players to spot enemies easily, while completing missions at night grants players a tactical advantage, as the night offers players better concealment and easier infiltration due to some guardsmen being asleep. Fourth is Rise of the Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider is an action-adventure video game developed by Crystal Dynamics and published by Square Enix. It is the sequel to the 2013 video game Tomb Raider, a reboot of the franchise of the same name. It was released for Xbox One and Xbox 360 in November 2015 and for Microsoft Windows in January 2016. A special edition of the game, titled Rise of the Tomb Raider, 20-year celebration, was released worldwide for PlayStation 4 in October 2016. Rise of the Tomb Raider was announced in June 2014. The game's storyline follows Lara Croft as she ventures into Siberia in search of the legendary city of Kitezh, whilst battling a paramilitary organization called the Trinity, that intends on beating her to the city's promise of immortality. Presented from a third-person perspective, the game primarily focuses on survival and combat, while the player may also explore its landscape and various optional tombs. Camilla Luddington returns to voice and perform her role as Lara. Rise of the Tomb Raider was critically acclaimed, with critics praising its graphics, gameplay, and characterization. Additional content was released, including a story campaign, a gameplay mode, as well as outfits and weapons for Lara. Third is Batman Arkham Knights. Batman Arkham Knight is a 2015 action-adventure video game developed by Rocksteady Studios and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. Based on the DC Comics superhero Batman, it is the successor to the 2013 video game Batman Arkham Origins, and the fourth main installment in the Batman Arkham series. Written by Sefton Hill, Ian Ball, and Martin Lancaster, Arkham Knight is inspired by the long-running comic book mythos. Set 1 year after the events of 2011's Batman Arkham City, the game's main storyline follows Batman as he confronts Scarecrow, who has launched an attack on Gotham City, causing a city-wide evacuation. Scarecrow, with the help of the mysterious Arkham Knight, is also able to unite Batman's greatest foes in an attempt to finally destroy Batman. The game is presented from a third-person perspective, with a primary focus on Batman's melee combat, stealth abilities, detective skills, and gadgets. Batman can freely move around the open world of Gotham City, interacting with characters and undertaking missions, and unlocking new areas by progressing through the main story or obtaining new equipment. The player is able to complete side missions away from the main story to unlock additional content and collectible items. Combat focuses on chaining attacks together against numerous foes while avoiding damage, while stealth allows Batman to conceal himself around an area, using gadgets and the environment to silently eliminate enemies. Arkham Knight introduces the Batmobile as a playable vehicle, which is used for transportation, puzzle solving and combat. Second is Need for Speed Payback. Need for Speed Payback is a racing video game developed by Ghost Games and published by Electronic Arts for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It is the 23rd installment in the Need for Speed series. The game was revealed with a trailer released on June 2, 2017. It was released worldwide on November 10, 2017. Need for Speed Payback is a racing game set in an open-world environment of Fortune Valley. It is focused on action, driving, and has 3 playable characters, each with different sets of skills, working together to pull off action movie-like sequences. In contrast with the previous game, it also features a 24-hour day-night cycle. Unlike the 2015 Need for Speed reboot, Payback includes an offline single-player mode. First is Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed Origins is an action-adventure video game developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft. It is the 10th major installment in the Assassin's Creed series, and the successor to 2015's Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It was released worldwide for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on October 27, 2017. The game is set in Egypt during the near end of the Ptolemaic period, 49-47 BC, and recounts the secret, fictional history of real-world events. The story explores the origins of the centuries-long conflict between the Brotherhood of Assassins, who fight for peace by promoting liberty, and the Order of the Ancients, forerunners to the Templar Order, who desire peace through the forced imposition of order. Origins received positive reviews from critics, who praised the story, characters, voice acting, reworked gameplay systems, immersive world of Egypt and the visuals, while criticizing some of the pacing and technical issues. The game has been lauded as either the best or one of the best installments in the series by multiple critics. Assassin's Creed Origins is an action-adventure stealth game played from a third-person perspective. Players complete quests, linear scenarios with set objectives, to progress through the story, earn experience points, and acquire new skills. Outside of quests, the player can freely roam the open world environment on foot, horseback, camelback or boat to explore locations, complete optional side quests and unlock weapons and equipment.
Make the ground shake.